Welcome everyone to the Mentoring Matters talk this month. For the first 5 minutes of our session, I will go over the program agenda very quickly and then some information about the Mentoring Club, especially for those who are first-timers. And then we will go right into Brian's topic, which is grow your network and net worth using LinkedIn. He has a really packed agenda, so we will do it like lecture style. And then we'll have about the last 5 minutes of the session for announcements. So first off, I'd like to thank all of the people who have been supporting us as volunteers. We could not make our events and programs possible without this very important people who have raised their hands and said, we'd like to support the Mentoring Club and volunteer or be involved in some way with the Mentoring Club. So really appreciate them. And then just so you know, we do have presence in several social media platforms. So please go ahead and connect with us there, follow us, consume the content. Anaj has been producing great content. She's helping us with social media marketing. Give us comments as well. You will have a copy of the slides, so no need to take any notes. And so now let's go and talk about why are we here? Because of the Mentoring Club, and the vision of the Mentoring Club is really centered around the mentees. They're passionate, they're driven, they want to become leaders, and the community of mentors are there to help them become, better leaders faster because of the experiences and the wisdom that they share with the mentees to help them grow. So they would have goals, and in order to get to those goals, they will have to develop specific skills in themselves. That is how we connect mentees with mentors, and they can connect with mentors anywhere in the world. Ultimately, the vision is that as mentees become successful leaders themselves, that they will become mentors to others. So we're just showing here, first-gen mentors. These are us. And eventually the mentees will become mentors themselves. And so how are we doing, or how are we implementing the model? So a mentee can, based on the mentee's goals, can have, he or she or they can have several mentors, one or several mentors. So this shows an example of Michaela in the US connecting with two mentors in the US, one in Mexico and one from the Czech Republic. We have Rita from Kenya connecting with a mentor in Uganda and some mentors in the US. Siddharth from India connecting with mentors in the US, New York and California. And then Joy from China connecting with mentors in Australia and the US. And then Naj is also our mentee. She has connected with mentors in Canada and the US. So that gives you an understanding or a backgrounder of how the mentoring connections work. And this is currently the distribution of mentors. I should say currently as of December 31. So last year, this is the distribution of our mentors and mentees all over the world. And we always want to share our values with people. This is how we attract people who have similar values to figure out if the Mentoring Club community is the right community for them to belong to. So the first group of values, integrity, honesty, and commitment, are anchored on trust. We need those for us to become trustworthy as individuals and professionals. And then the second group of values are anchored on leadership. We need both to be successful. One without the other pretty much leads to nothing. So we have to identify which one is our strength and then find people that will complement our strength so that as a team, we can be successful. And then the last grouping of values is anchored on community. At the end of the day, our interpersonal relationships are what matter most. The people we love around us, and those are the social grounding forces that eventually make us feel fulfilled and happy. And so now we're going to the main agenda for this evening, which is with Brian.
Thank you so much. Before we begin, I just want to say thank you, Lisa, for inviting me for a second time. I appreciate it immensely. I believe in you wholeheartedly, and I believe in the Mentoring Club and what you're doing. It's amazing what you're doing for others. And I want to thank everybody here for making time for this, for being here for us and for yourselves. And I really hope that you enjoy what we've put together or what I've put together to empower you, to inspire you, and to help you learn more about LinkedIn and to get the most out of it. Okay, so the topic today, grow your network and net worth with LinkedIn. So who is LinkedIn for? By the way, there's a lot of content. Please take notes if you want, take screenshots if you want, and then at the end, if you have any questions, write them down, and then at the end, I will have time. You can ask me any questions that you want. I just want to make sure that you walk away from this session with all these contents and that that I really give you absolutely everything. Who is LinkedIn for? It is for professionals, entrepreneurs, business owners. I'm hoping that you are one of these, in one of these or more categories. What can LinkedIn do for us? It can help us grow personally, professionally, and financially. And I put this in this specific order because this is what happened to me. I grew first personally. I noticed that change in myself. Then I grew professionally. And then finally I grew financially. All three of these categories beyond my wildest imagination. It was beyond anything that I can imagine. I will give you numbers and I will help you see that. I still cannot put it down in words, how much I've grown and how much I've seen that growth in myself. So in terms of personal growth, first of all, if you start to leverage LinkedIn, and you're not just lurking around and just watching other people's contents and doing nothing, you will find your voice. If you really start to engage with others and you start to create content, you will find your voice. You will gain confidence. You will be able to walk into any conversation and just start to build a relationship with someone else and share your opinion, your experience. And whatever it is that you learn from LinkedIn, you will be able to take it to any other walks of life, just like I am bringing my experience now here in front of all of you. Right now, some of you or most of you here with me, we're strangers, but hopefully we start to build a relationship that turns into a friendship as well. And now I walk just in any part of my life with a lot more confidence in myself. You are able to align yourself with others. You start to get to know others. You start to see and learn about their values, what they're interested in, and you start to make real friends. If you think that online you cannot make real friends, we are people. We're just people behind the computer. And in many cases, I've met many of these professionals and I've actually built solid friendships with them to the point that many of them have actually come here to Toronto to meet me from New York City, for example, who drove for 8 hours to just see me, and I welcome them into my home to introduce them to my family. So these are not just virtual relationships. Many of them turn into actual friendships, really solid ones. In terms of professional growth, you find career opportunities if that's what you're looking for. If you're a professional looking to grow, you will find career opportunities. And I will talk about numbers, what LinkedIn has done for me in a moment. You will get found by employers if you really learn how to leverage LinkedIn. Not only you will be able to apply for jobs, but you will be found. And there's someone here, Denise, who can attest. I don't know if she really knows about the story with her son, with Dylan, in detail, but the one job that he got now, which he started very recently as a VP of brand marketing, he didn't actually apply for that job. He didn't even think about applying for a job as a VP. And that's the job that he has at this moment as a vice president at 27 years of age, which is unbelievable, right? You will be able to position yourself professionally. And this is what I wanted. I wanted to stop wasting my time with Instagram and Facebook. I mean, each one of us may use it for different purposes, and some people really get some good value out of them, right? And you're empowering others or inspiring others and maybe running a business through those different platforms. But I was wasting a lot of time on those platforms. So I wanted to really make the most out of my time, and I wanted to position myself. What better platform to do it on than the number one platform for professionals, which is LinkedIn. And lastly, achieve independence. I wasn't really looking for that. I really didn't think that I could make it happen. But if you don't try, you're never going to make it happen unless you get lucky, I guess. But I was able to achieve independence as well through LinkedIn. And in terms of financial growth, I was able to increase my salary. I will share numbers as well. I was able to generate side income without even looking for it. In the beginning, I was not looking to monetize LinkedIn. I just wanted to empower others, get people back on their feet, give clarity to other professionals. I was able to substitute my income, what I was generating, what I was making in the corporate world. I've been in technology for 25 years. I was able to replace that income with my new income that I never knew I was going to be able to create by mentoring professionals. And now I get to jump out of bed every single day to do what I love, which is making a positive impact in other people's lives. And lastly, stop relying on employers. If you're a professional, if you're working for somebody else, which is, it's all good, it's amazing. Some people don't like to be entrepreneurs, they don't like to be business owners, that's totally fine. What I want to encourage you to do is to start to think that if you are relying on someone's salary, at any point you can potentially lose that salary, right? Because maybe there's, God forbid, right? COVID, the 10th wave of COVID or something, right? And that affects your business or your industry. Maybe your organization gets acquired. Maybe your organization needs to do a mass layoff like many organizations are doing. Maybe you don't get along with your manager, right? They get replaced and then the new manager doesn't get along with you. You don't see eye to eye. Maybe you have someone sick in your family, God forbid, but maybe that happens and that affects your performance. There are many reasons as to why you might lose your one income that you have. So you might want, I highly encourage you to start to think about how to have multiple streams of income. And that doesn't mean that you need to invest any money, by the way. Okay, I'm not talking about crypto, I'm not talking about stocks, I'm not talking about any of that, other than investing in yourself to position yourself. So how much are we really talking about here? In my personal experience, I was able to go, when I started to leverage LinkedIn, I was able to go from $60,000 a year all the way to $500,000 a year. And I was able to get 6 jobs thanks to LinkedIn. I think that I transitioned 7 times, but 6 of them were thanks to LinkedIn. And I was able to create 2 businesses, one for mentoring professionals and another one for helping professionals immigrate to Canada safely. And I always say up front, I'm not an immigration consultant, I'm not an immigration lawyer, and I don't pretend to be. I surround myself with other professionals who, provide that expertise. In the case of immigration, I cannot even attempt to do anything related to immigration because I will go to jail, basically. But in terms of career development, yes, I can do that. I don't need any type of license to be able to mentor professionals, right? So that's the business that I focus on. And in terms of mentees, my mentees, their experience is that they've been able to make somewhere between 1.5x of their salary up to 6 times their salary just by leveraging LinkedIn and getting that next job after really making the most out of the platform. But we must be courageous. We must be intentional and we must be consistent. Courageous. Why do I say this? Because I was scared. I was scared to put a like on anybody's post because I thought, what would my colleagues or my manager think about me engaging on LinkedIn and being active on LinkedIn? Would they think that I'm actually looking for a job? I wasn't really necessarily looking for a job. I was always open to the idea that if someone found me, that would be great. I was scared. What would they think? What if they fire me? And then you know what? After 1 week, I was like, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go for it. And I put that first like. And that first like was like the ignition in an engine. I just went for it. And then I started to put another like and then leave comments. I pushed myself. But I kept on pushing. I was like, you know what? Putting likes on people's posts and leaving comments is not doing anything for me. I mean, I'm building some relationships. Maybe some people are getting to know me. But unless I actually create my own content, it's not going to do anything for me. And one of the things, hopefully this resonates with you or it inspires you to adopt this, my way of being, I guess, my essence, my nature is, if they can do it, I can do it. They have the same brain as I do. They have the same 2 hands. They have the same eyes. They have the same everything as I do. Maybe some more knowledge, some more experience, some more expertise. But I just went for it and I started to create content. Okay. In the beginning, it was hard and it was scary, but I went for it. Intentional. Choose your focus. What do you want to do? There are a few different things that you can do on LinkedIn. You can entertain. Maybe you've seen a lot of posts with a lot of content that the only purpose of that content is to just gather likes and comments, right? That's not my type of content. To be completely honest with you, I'm not a clown here. I'm not coming to entertain anybody. I like to empower and I like to inspire. I like to educate. I like to make a positive impact in that way. Some people like to make a positive impact by entertaining. I like to make a positive impact by educating people as much as I can. I've always been this way since I was young. So again, you can entertain, you can educate, you can empower, you can inspire. You have to choose which one do you want to do. I choose to do everything except entertain. Aim to deliver value. A lot of professionals or a lot of users on LinkedIn or any other platform for that matter, they focus on how can I get the most likes? How can I get the most comments? How can I get the most followers? And one of the reasons why, I don't know if you've seen my profile or not, but I've grown organically to over 250,000 followers, which I'm humbled to be able to say. It's all about delivering value and challenging the status quo, making people think and rocking the boat, basically. But I want people to think differently and to stop for a moment and challenge the way that they think and what they do, right? So I'm always trying to deliver value. And sometimes it arrives, it lands on the other end, and sometimes it doesn't, and that's totally fine. But it always starts from a place of, I want to deliver value. I'm not trying to get those likes and those comments, that engagement. And the last thing is, don't try to please all. You're not going to be able to. I promise you will never be able to please everybody. So don't try. Just be yourself. You can. I encourage you to be yourself on LinkedIn. You probably have heard this 1,000 times. Be yourself. You don't have to please anybody. You can bring your humor. You can bring your wit. You can bring your anything that you are. If you're loving, if you're friendly, if you're smart, if you're funny, just if you're serious, however it is that you are, be yourself. As long as you're happy being yourself and you're a true representation of who you are, that's amazing. One of the things that a lot of people that I've met with in person here in Toronto, they would say is, you're exactly the same person that I met on LinkedIn. I was like, yeah, why have two faces? Why have a facade? I want to be myself. I'm happy with myself. Just want to show myself the way that I am. Always, of course, always looking to be a better version of myself. And lastly, consistent. Set a schedule. If you haven't started posting on LinkedIn, set a schedule. Set one alarm at least on your phone and say, at this time of the day, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to write that article or that post, and I'm going to do something. I'm going to add value in some way. If you don't feel comfortable yet writing posts or articles or doing any of that sort, just spend the time engaging with others, just leaving comments, just to start to warm up. But set the time and don't see it as a chore. It's not a chore. It's not like, oh, I have to do LinkedIn again. If you're not going to enjoy it, you may as well not do it. Just go back to Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, do something else. But if you really understand the potential or your potential and how you can maximize it thanks to LinkedIn, you will not see it as a chore anymore. It will be a joy to sit down to do something on LinkedIn. Stick to the schedule. So set a schedule and stick to it. So even when you don't feel like it, even when you're tired, just make sure that you are consistent. Because if you do it whenever it feels comfortable, you will be like, I don't feel like it. I want to go back to Netflix. I want to do this. I want to do that. But those users who are following you, who are expecting your contents, if you don't show up, somebody else will show up and they will take your spot. So once you start, it's like a snowball. It starts small, but then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you have a responsibility to those that you are, trying to serve, that you are trying to make a positive impact on. And you owe it to yourself as well. I've seen so many professionals who started and they created that snowball that became big, big, big. And all of a sudden they just gave up and they disappeared. I'm like, where is this person who got 30,000 followers? She hasn't posted in 3 months or a year. Where is this person? You're doing yourself a huge disservice if you do that. And don't fantasize or idealize. Don't think that you're going to just create something massive overnight. You've heard about this expression, an overnight success. It doesn't happen that way. For me, I've written over 2,800 posts. And it didn't take me 2,800 to all of a sudden blow up, right? I noticed something in the beginning, and I started to grow, and I noticed that the more effort I put into it, the more time I put into it, the more I kept on growing. And eventually that snowball all of a sudden became massive, and it grew like this. If you look at my chart, it's like massive. It went exponentially. So be consistent, show up every single day. If you can show up multiple times a day, even better. So when is the right time to start? 20 years ago, almost, when LinkedIn was created. I wish I had. I mean, I created my account, who knows, like 15 years ago, or maybe 18 years ago. But I don't know if there was a social media platform. I don't know if we could engage, if we could create posts back then, or if this was only for having your resume up there and just applying for jobs. So when is the next best time to start, if you haven't started yet, leveraging LinkedIn? Today, right after this session. I will give you ideas so that you can do something. And I really hope that you don't walk away from this session and all this went in and you're like, oh, this is amazing, this is so great. And you went out and then you didn't do anything and it was just a waste of time and, you know, nothing. You got nothing out of this. I really hope that you take action. If you don't take action, it's not going to change your life. Build it before we need it. So this is my advice. Regardless of who we are, it doesn't matter whether you're a CEO, whether you're an entrepreneur, a business person, a professional, build it before we need it. Basically, start to invest in your professional profile on LinkedIn before you need it. If you happen to be employed, for example, at this moment, this is the time to start building your presence on LinkedIn. Don't wait until you're actually unemployed, because at that moment, no one will want to network with you. You will come off as a pest. You will come off as someone needy. You will come off as someone who, just looking for a job. The best moment for you to give and to make a positive impact and to pay it forward and to do something for yourself is when you are doing well. So if you're doing well, sure, we all need some time to go and watch Netflix, but within moderation, balance it. Invest a little bit of your time on a daily basis on your LinkedIn profile. Build it before we need it, regardless of how well we are. Again, when I started on LinkedIn, I was doing really well, personally, professionally, financially. I mean, I was not swimming in money. It's not like I was doing extremely well. I was okay. We were living comfortably, but I was like, this is the moment where, I felt that it's like an airplane emergency. When you're doing okay, you put that mask on the person next to you. So I wanted to give back to the world or pay it forward, make a positive impact in other people's lives. And at that moment, because of doing that, it ended up coming back to me. So hopefully it inspires you, if you're doing well right now, to go and do it. And if you're not doing well, you may as well start, because it will make a difference. Regardless of what our plans are, a lot of professionals, a lot of people out there, they need a plan, they need a strategy, they need something, they need clarity. I had no clarity. And now I have 250,000 followers and I left the corporate world and I built 2 businesses and I'm doing really well and I don't feel anxious anymore about my job and I'm not in a toxic environment anymore as I was before. But I had no idea where I was heading. I had no north, no idea what could happen, what could come out of LinkedIn. And I went for it because I had nothing to lose. I was investing in myself. And it was a better investment than scrolling endlessly through videos of cars and watches and cats pushing things off a table on Instagram and Facebook. Those algorithms are genius. They're amazing. But before you know it, you wasted 2, 3, 4 hours and your legs are numb. Probably it's happened to all of us, right? Getting started. If you really want to get started, engage, like, but don't just leave a like. Please force yourself to leave a comment, a meaningful comment. I see a lot of comments from people out there who say, great post, great share. That doesn't do anything for you. Honestly, it doesn't do. You may as well just say nothing. You may as well just keep on scrolling. Try to see how whatever was posted triggers an experience that you had, something that you learned, an opinion, perspective, something that you can teach, something that can help you connect with others who think similarly to you. So engage in some way. Write a post or write an article. If you don't know the difference, posts tend to be shorter than articles, and you can see them on the feed. You click on read more or see more, and then they expand. Whereas an article, you have to click on it and it loads, and it has a formatting. Typically they are longer. You can embed a video if you want within it, and a quote, and so on and so forth, right? So different type of contents. If you want to get more reach, if you want me to engage with your posts, tag me. More than happy. Liesl can say that, hey, she tagged me on a couple of posts on the mentoring club, and I went and I engaged with them, right? So if you want to get more engagement, tag me. I mean, tag me purposefully, meaningfully. Don't just tag me to suck the blood out of me. Tag me in a way that maybe you learned something tonight and you want to summarize this in some way, or maybe you can leverage 100 posts out of tonight's session. I hope that you can. Well, tag me on every single post, and I will be more than happy to just go and engage and leave a meaningful comment so that my network, my followers can go over to you and you can start to grow as well. Okay, so we're helping each other. We're helping each other grow. Okay, what if we don't know how to write? I didn't know how. I didn't take a course. You can tell that I have an accent. I was born and raised in Buenos Aires, Argentina. I've been in Canada for almost 19 years. I take a lot of pride in the way that I write. I love writing, and anyone who works with me professionally, they cannot tell that I am an immigrant. Especially my name is Brian, so it fits very well here in North America. But people cannot tell that I am an immigrant because I take a lot of pride in the way that I write. But the first article that I wrote, it took me an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and a half, and I was double checking every single thing. And probably if I check my first article and I compare it to my latest posts or articles, I would be like, what did I write? But unless you start, you're never going to get amazing at something. So you may as well start and just post it. I mean, it's not going to be perfect, but just start and hit the publish button. Just post. I took inspiration. I am a very observant person. I like to observe human interactions and what other people are doing. So I observed, what are people posting? How are they writing? How are they organizing their thoughts? Are they posting with images? Are they posting with video? What are they doing? And I took inspiration from that. So if you have noticed some professionals out there who are posting things that you're like, wow, this is great, maybe you want to mimic what they're doing with your own style, with your own voice. Okay, don't copy them. Don't plagiarize it. Just do it your way. Okay. It took me longer when I first started, as I was saying, but I got better at it, right? I can now literally write a post or a poll or an article. Well, articles, they're a little bit longer, but a post or a poll in literally 5 minutes. It used to take me an hour and 15, an hour and a half. Now, in literally 5 minutes, I can just crank out a post or a poll, and it's out there, and it generates 10, 15, 50,000 views, okay? But that's practice. What if others have already shared it, what you want to say? So the question is, do we know everything? We don't. Do we want to share something that can potentially impact someone else? There's always someone out there who can benefit from what you want to share, right? So if you have some thoughts, something happened to you today, something inspired you, you learned something, these are all great opportunities for you to share with others and to make a positive impact in others. Assume that there will be someone out there who can benefit from this. As long as you're making a positive impact in one person, that's it. Anything else is a bonus. At least that's the way that I see it. And in many cases, there are many professionals who, they know exactly what you're sharing, but they like the message anyway, and they like to be reminded about that, or they needed to hear that again, okay? They needed to be empowered that way. They needed to be inspired that way. They forgot about that concept, and they need to hear that for one reason or another. Who are we to share anything? Who are we? We are enough. You have to believe that you're enough. You're a professional. You're someone who has come a long way, right? Whether you are, just a graduate out of university or college, or you are, I don't know, a manager, a director, a VP, you have knowledge, you have experience, you have expertise, you have skills, you have something that you can share with others to make a positive impact. My advice is try to stand out from mediocrity. When you look, if you become really observant, like I am, or maybe you already are, look at the quality of the comments, look at the quality of the posts. And if the quality of the posts that you're seeing on your feed are not amazing, maybe you want to stop following those people because they're just consuming the most precious thing that you have aside from your family, which is your time, that you're never going to get it back. I don't know if it's ever happened to you that you're scrolling endlessly through your feed and you're like, I'm not connecting with this, I'm not connecting with this. And after 1 hour, you're like, just wasted an hour. It didn't help me. So one of the things that happened back in the day on LinkedIn is that for every single connection that you accepted, you became immediately a follower of each other. And now you're saying that person's engagement their likes and their comments on other people's posts or their posts that they created on your feed. And you're like, man, like I can't really stand these things anymore. So one of the things that you can do is go to those people and just start unfollowing them so that you can control what you're consuming, right? Because we are what we consume. What if others disapprove? This is one of the things that a lot of people worry about. That's okay. who are they to approve or disapprove what I have to say? And why do we care? Again, we're not going to please everybody. So why do we care so much about what someone else has to say? It's happened to me plenty of times. People disagree and they bring their, their colleagues or their, how do you call it? Their squad, right? They all bring they all come together to my post to bash on whatever it is that I posted. Well, I stand behind what I said, right? And coming all to bully me or to use their force to try to convince me about something else. No, I already thought about that. It makes absolutely no sense. And I stand behind what I teach. And that's why I'm saying it, right? And it's okay to change your mind. What if they bully us? We can control others, okay? You cannot control them, but we must control ourselves. Sorry, I was changing the wording here on this slide. We must control ourselves. Watch out the way that you reply to people, the type of interactions that you have. People are watching. LinkedIn is watching as well. But I will tell you, it is the healthiest platform out there. I've seen a lot of bullying on many other platforms, and here on LinkedIn, at least I don't see it as much. People tend to behave. Even if they disagree, they tend to be polite. In some cases, and people, there are some rotten apples out there, but the vast majority of people, either they will stay quiet and they will not say anything. Maybe they just unfollow you when you say something that doesn't resonate with them, or they will tell you how they disagree with that. And the best thing that you can do is just have a conversation. And why do you think about it that way? And what happened to you? And this is the way that I see it. And try to have a conversation with them and see if you can steer them towards your side, or maybe you want to see more about their perspective as well. And you can potentially build relationships that way also. What if we change our minds? I was saying, like, sometimes we change our minds, right? We do that privately, right? With our friends. Maybe we learn something that we didn't know about and we change our mind and we're like, yeah, you were right about that. It's a blessing. Own it. You just saw the light. You just saw an opportunity to know better. So if you change your mind about something, you can do two things. You can, first of all, acknowledge to that person that, yes, actually, you know what? I never saw it that way. You can even write a post about it. I posted a week ago about something that I thought it was this way, and actually changed my mind. This is the way that it is. I learned something that I didn't know. I just wanted to make sure that everybody who saw my post, this is the way. It talks about being mature and being professional and being accountable, responsible for wanting to make an impact in other people's lives. You don't have to hide it under the rag and say, oh, nothing happened here, right? And you delete the old post. Go and acknowledge the fact that you shared something that you no longer agree with. Is there anything we shouldn't talk about? Yes, 100%. Religion, politics, conspiracy theories, blaming and judging anybody. Let me explain to you why. What about free speech? Yes, outside of LinkedIn, you can have a lot of it. On LinkedIn, there is a user agreement and professional community policies. I highly encourage all of you to read it and to really know it by heart. What happens if we don't? You're ready to be banned. Don't take this lightly. You can be serious about it. Don't say I didn't warn you. It's happened to me multiple times that I got banned. I don't know how. I still have an account with 250,000 followers, but it's happened to me multiple times. And every single time that it happens to me, I get an ulcer and I get like a stomach ache for like a week. And I'm like, this is the end. And then somehow God is great, and it's always great. And I managed to get my account back. But one day I might not. So I'm telling you, don't strike out on LinkedIn because you can lose your account. Be careful what you share, what you say. So why LinkedIn? 58 million companies on LinkedIn, 20 million job opportunities on LinkedIn, 2.8 million recruiters on LinkedIn, 830 million users are found on LinkedIn. 6 professionals hired every minute on LinkedIn, and 9 out of 10 employers use it to hire. So it's an amazing platform to the point that Dylan, Denise's son, says, I was using Indeed. I'm no longer going to use Indeed. I didn't have to tell him that. He saw the benefits himself on LinkedIn. In fact, he got his VP role through LinkedIn. Okay? They found him by having an amazing LinkedIn profile. Have you noticed repetitive content? I don't know if you've ever noticed this, that you saw this post and you saw it a while ago and you see it again. If yes, 1% create original content. What does that mean? That there's a lot of us consuming content. I mean, I create content, but there's a lot of users consuming content. And because there's not enough content, content gets repeated and you get to see the same content over and over. That should tell you, that should be your wake-up call to know, wait. So there is a huge imbalance between how many content creators there are and content consumers there are. And this is your great opportunity for you to start to create content. It's so easy to stand out from everybody else. Less than 1% of users actually create good original content. So if you want to stand out from all the other users, just create content. If you haven't noticed repetitive content, you're not active enough, meaning that LinkedIn for you is a chore. You do it whenever you feel like it, whenever you're bored, whenever you scroll through like 5 screens of your phone and you're like, oh, there's LinkedIn, let's go back to it. I actually placed LinkedIn, the LinkedIn app on I have an iPhone, at the bottom. You know how you have the phone, you have a few different apps. I think that I removed Safari and I actually put LinkedIn there. So it's always available. No matter where I go on my phone, LinkedIn is always there. And that's the app that I use the most. Okay? This is our opportunity to stand out, engage meaningfully, as I was saying. Don't just say great post, great share. That doesn't do anything for anybody. Not for them, not for you. Build meaningful relationships. Connect with people and have a Zoom call with them or a call with them or a WhatsApp call, private message. Start to build meaningful relationships. Create original content and be intentional with our time. Make sure that when you are on LinkedIn, you're not just scrolling endlessly. Try to add value on every single post that resonates with you. Don't just scroll through, just add value. You would not believe how many professionals reach out to me. I mean, I have my business. We can talk about that in a moment. But how many, just by leaving one single comment in somebody's post and making it meaningful enough, I got on that post 100 likes. And how does that translate into business, into leads? All these people come onto my profile to connect with me, to follow me, to send me private messages, to ask me, how can you help me advance in my career? So go and leave comments on other people's posts. You will probably post once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day if you really can sustain this. But leaving comments, it's easy. Somebody else took the effort, made the effort of actually creating original content. Just go all around LinkedIn leaving comments, meaningful comments, okay? That's a lot easier than creating content on your profile all the time. We don't have time for it, some of you might say. So the questions for you are, what else do we do with our time? Any other distractions? I asked someone, can you make some time for LinkedIn? I don't have any time for it. Okay, so are you watching? I think at the time this guy was watching Game of Thrones or one of those things, one of those shows. And I was asking him, do you watch any Netflix? Yes. How many hours per day? I think he said 2 or 3 hours per day. I was like, there you have 2 or 3 hours. Like one day, one night, 2 or 3 hours is just 2 or 3 hours. But last time I checked, the year has 365 or 366 days. Multiply 2 times 365, and you are going to get a lot of hours, 730 hours that went towards nothing. And at the end, you're always unhappy with the end of these shows anyway. Always complaining, oh, the Game of Thrones was garbage. This season finale was terrible. So why don't you watch the whole 900 hours of it? What for? So anyway, we can all make time, right? If someone were sick, just like Liesl, she went to the Philippines to be with her mom. You can always make time for the things that you want. The question is, do you want to make the time or not, right? Just like you did tonight for this. Where am I now? 250,000 followers plus, 2.8K posts that I've written, and hundreds of hours on LinkedIn Live and articles. 90 million organic views. Do you guys know how much 90 million organic views are worth? $700,000 that I never had to pay. If you had to pay for 90 million views, you would be paying somewhere around there, $700,000. $500,000 per year in revenue. On a weekly basis, about 1,400 leads coming in. on a weekly basis without investing a penny other than time, which time is money as well, but inbound leads coming on a weekly basis just by posting. 100 email subscribers, 100,000 newsletter subscribers on LinkedIn. Have my newsletter on LinkedIn as well. And we get invited, or I get invited as a frequent podcast and live stream as a guest, and public speaking engagements, just like this one, right? What everyone should know, I want you to take actionable items, things that you should know. Your photo needs to be high quality, and please make sure that your photo is actually public, that everyone can see it. If you really want to connect with others, and people see, and maybe you don't know this, but many people can, other users who are not connected with you, might be seeing a gray photo of a silhouette of a person, but not necessarily your photo. So go to your settings and make sure that all your settings are set correctly. If they cannot see your photo, how are they going to connect with you? They cannot see your smile, they cannot see your eyes, they cannot see anything. So how are they going to be drawn to you? Make sure that your photo is set to public, right? As long as you feel comfortable with that, but I highly recommend that. And make sure that it's high quality. Make sure that it is about you. Make sure that you're smiling, that you're inviting people, that you're not wearing glasses. I see a lot of people wear, sunglasses, right? Let them see through your eyes. Make sure that it's well lit. If you want to see, if you don't know whether your photo is good or not, there is a website which is free, which is called Photo Filler, PHOTOFEELER.com, and basically you can upload your photo and you can get it rated from other people and compare it between different photos that you have, and then basically you're going to know which one is the highest rated one. Banner. I see a lot of profiles with no banner. It's just a gray area, but the banner, the real estate on the screen, is 5 times the size of the photo. So make sure that you have a banner, but not just any banner. I see a lot of people who also have a banner of a landscape. And what do? I'm a business analyst, but the landscape is the landscape of, I don't know, Arizona. What does it have to do with being a business analyst? Nothing, right? So make sure that that banner is representative of you, of what you do on a daily basis. Maybe you in action. Maybe you have a call to action. Maybe you have your phone number. You have your email address. You have something. Connect with me. Maybe there's a quote that is inspirational to you, that guides you on how you do your job. A headline. The headline is for others, not necessarily for yourself. It's for them to understand who you are, right? So if you're a professional looking for a job, you want to make sure that your title is for the job that you're actually looking for. And there are many organizations that are very creative in the tech world specifically, that they, instead of calling you a full stack software developer, they call you ninja developer. Ninja, no one is searching for ninja developers anywhere, okay? You're not like a ninja turtle. No recruiter ever has searched for ninja developer. So ask yourself, how are recruiters looking for professionals like you for the position that you're aspiring for? And that should be the title that you should put on your headline. And you should be telling them where you're working at, and you should add some of the keywords that you believe you're going to be searched for, okay? The more, we'll talk about SEO in a moment, search engine optimization, making sure that you get as many keywords as possible. Never use the LinkedIn resume. Don't export the LinkedIn resume out of LinkedIn, or basically there is a functionality to export your LinkedIn profile as a resume. Don't do that. It's terrible. It's garbage. Don't do that. It doesn't work. It's not ATS compliant. Just don't do that. Okay? You should be writing your resume from scratch. Make sure your photo is public, as I was saying before. Display your full last name. If you want people to, imagine if I don't share my last name, how are you going to tag me on a post? Now, if you want to start to build relationships with others and you are not sharing your last name, maybe you're concerned about your identity theft and so on. I am not. If you don't share your last name, then others will not be able to tag you. So you want to consider sharing your full last name on LinkedIn. Be careful not to show your company. I've heard horrible stories of people who were malicious, and basically they would call your company and say, hey, this employee is terrible, and they would talk trash about you to your new employer. Be very careful, especially when you start a new job. Be very careful about that, especially if you have some sort of enemies or people who don't wish you the best. Make sure that you pass your probation, that you're doing extremely well, that you've built a relationship with your manager, your reputation with your team and with the employer, and then you can share your employer. How do you prevent from sharing your employer? Either you don't show it until you pass probation, or You just basically, when you're looking for the company, you set it to confidential. There's no button that you can set it to confidential. Basically, you search for the name of the company, it's called confidential. And basically there's like 40,000 or 50,000 employees who work at confidential. These are professionals who don't want to share where they are currently working at. Okay? Featured, posts, articles, portfolio. If you have some posts that you're incredibly proud of, that got a lot of traction, that demonstrate how you think, your values, excuse me, or articles, or maybe your portfolio, you can link at the top of your profile. There's a featured section where basically anyone looking for you, whether they're customers or prospects or employers or recruiters or HR professionals, they can look at that featured section, which will lead to something that hopefully creates that action that you're looking for, right? Creates a customer for you or a lead for you, or maybe someone invites you in for an interview. Recommendations. I see so many profiles with no recommendations. If you go to my profile, you will see something like 98 or 99 or 100 recommendations, something like that. Imagine a recruiter or an HR professional or a hiring manager coming to my profile, seeing all my activity, what I stand for, what I write, how I am challenging the status quo to make sure that people think differently. And then they scroll down and they go to my recommendations, 100 recommendations on this profile. It doesn't happen very often. So make sure that you start to gather those recommendations from previous clients, colleagues, anybody that you've added a positive impact to, and make sure that it's relevant to what you do, right? You don't want your nephew or your cousin leaving a comment there that has nothing to do with what you're looking for. Okay? Let recruiters know you are open. There is a functionality. It's set to right under your profile photo. You can literally click on that checkbox that says, let recruiters know you're open, so that they can start to reach out to you. But here's one thing. Don't set the open to work watermark. Have you seen that open to work watermark, hashtag open to work, which is a green watermark? Please do not use that. No one can search under that watermark, first of all. And second, have you ever seen a Rolls Royce with a for sale sign on a windshield? A Rolls Royce doesn't need a for sale sign, because a Rolls Royce is wanted by everyone. You guys are a Rolls Royce. The way that you get acquired by anyone out there, if you're looking for employment or if you're looking for customers, is by having a kick-ass profile, not by having an open to work watermark. Okay, that doesn't help. That makes you look desperate. Just like these dealerships that put like they put with the paint 14,997 on the windshield. Who wants a car that has that on the windshield, right? Make connections at the company. If you want to increase your chances of being found by recruiters, make connections who work at the company, right? One of the easiest ways to be able to build those relationships is go and see who's working at those companies and go and check whether they are actually active on LinkedIn. You can go to someone's profile and you can click on see all activity. You will find it on their profile, and you can go and see whether they comment on other people's posts or whether they actually write their own original content. And then just go and engage where they are hanging out. And that's the easiest way that you will build relationships with the people at the company where you want to work at. And then you will be able to connect with them, and eventually you will make your way to the recruiter. Follow your desired company. So if you want to work at Google or at Amazon or Facebook or wherever it is, Apple, just go and follow that company as well. That will increase your chances of being seen by those recruiters who work at those companies. And get job alerts on LinkedIn Jobs, which is amazing. Whenever you search for a job, set the alert so you get alerted before anybody else can see that job. So anybody who has an alert will see those jobs first. Make sure that you set those alerts, save them so that you get alerted immediately. The About section, it's more than your resume summary. Definitely your resume summary should be on the About section, but you want to demonstrate your passion, tell a story as to why you do what you do, what inspired you to do that. Make sure that you're telling them a story to inspire them, to captivate their attention. Highlight our success. Share something that you have been able to achieve. Include the keywords that you believe you will be searched by, and show life outside of work. Tell them something that you like to do. Share some of your passions outside of work to show them that you are a human being, not a robot. And then have a call to action, a CTA, a call to action, so that you invite them to connect with you. Give them your email address, your phone number if you feel comfortable. Invite them to connect with you. If you don't tell them that you're open for them to connect with you, they will not. Whether they are an employer, a recruiter, hiring manager, HR professional, prospect, invite them to connect with you. And that way, they are more likely to connect with you if you're actually inviting them to do that. Match resume. Okay, so these are all different sections within the LinkedIn profile. Every single one of these sections should match the different sections on your resume, your experience. I see a lot of profiles out there where the experience is empty. It says, for example, business analyst at Amazon, whatever it is, right? There's no actual description of what you do. There's no achievements, there's nothing. And the problem with that is that you're missing out an opportunity to include the keywords that will make your profile surface up. The more occurrences of a certain keyword, relevant keywords, that appear on your LinkedIn profile, the higher up you will show up on the search results. So if they are searching for someone, let's say that there's a company searching for business analyst, and your profile has one occurrence of business analyst, and there's another profile that has 10 occurrences throughout, one on the headline, one on the about, one on the experience, right, on each one of the job experiences, one on the skills, and so on and so forth. And you have business analysts everywhere. When someone searches for business analyst, your profile will show up higher up on the list, and they will find you first. Add your licenses and certifications, education, make sure that it matches what you have on your resume, honors and awards and languages. And here's the thing, there are a lot of instances where a LinkedIn profile will raise red flags because you apply with your resume and then it doesn't match your LinkedIn profile. And then you are now raising red flags where the employer doesn't believe in you anymore, doesn't trust you anymore. So this is the main reason as to why you should not have 23 versions of your resume. If you do, you should not have multiple versions of your resume. You should have a single version of your resume, because when you apply with your resume through LinkedIn, they will find your LinkedIn and they will compare it. I just went through that myself. At the bank where I got a job, I didn't even apply for the job. And I got this background check and they compared my resume to my LinkedIn profile. So make sure that you have a single version of your resume, because you can only have a single version of your LinkedIn profile, okay? Besides another 10 reasons why you should have a single version of your resume. Now, Google's 100th page, or any platform's 100th page, would anyone care to find someone on the 100th page, or would anyone care to pay money to appear on the 100th page? Let's say on the search results of Google? No. Do you know any business owner who will care to appear on the 100th page? No, because no one is going to make it that far. So what's the point of appearing on LinkedIn on the 100th page? Of course, you want to show up on the search results, but you want to show up at the top on the first page, not on the 100th page, right? So it's the exact same concept. If you don't care to appear on the 100th page of Google, you don't care to appear on the 100th page of LinkedIn. Leverage keywords everywhere. As I was saying before, understand every single one of these sections and make sure that you have keywords there to be able to increase your chances of appearing at the top. And then the checklist. Will we be found? Do the search yourself. Search or have someone search for you, or search for, let's say, if you're a business analyst or product owner, search for those keywords in your location and see whether you show up or not. And then see how, by adding more keywords throughout your profile, how you will increase your chances of showing up at the top. We've done this search ourselves and we compared, and we were able to see that the person who appeared at the top had, let's say, 4 occurrences of the word superintendent, which is what we were searching for. Whereas the second person had 3 occurrences, the next one had 2, and the very next one had 1. So make sure that you have all these occurrences of the keywords that matter to you. Are we connected to recruiters in your industry? If you're not, connect with them. But one of the easiest ways to stand out is by following them first, going to their profiles, checking out their activity, seeing whether they post or they engage on other people's posts, and start to build a relationship that way. And then you will see how they will notice your profile and they will come to you with a connection request. This is not something that will happen to you in an hour. It will take a few days, maybe a week, but it's way more effective to connect with someone by actually giving them value first. Any content creator out there, what they want is likes and comments. Basically, they want as much exposure as possible. So go and give people what they want, and you will see how that comes back to you. You will benefit tremendously from that. Just be smart about this. Are we connected to their connections? So if you're trying to target someone in particular, see who they are connected with and go and connect with other people, because it will be significantly easier to connect with them afterwards because they see that you have mutual connections. Okay. How recruiters pick us on LinkedIn? Based on your headshot? Do you have a headshot? What does your headshot say about you? Are you friendly? Are you welcoming? Are you professional? Are you looking at the camera? I see a lot of people who are not even looking at the camera. And I see a lot of people from other countries, I'm not going to name any countries, but who upload their passport photos to their LinkedIn profiles. I'm like, what are you guys thinking? This is not like a passport platform to travel across countries. This is LinkedIn. This is a social media platform. Your passport photo doesn't say anything good about you. It's like you're like a robot, right? So have an amazing profile photo. Make sure that it's professional as well, right? Your headline, what does your headline say? Does it include the job title that you're aspiring for, or at least your current one? What type of keywords do you have there? What are you aspiring to do? Your summary, do you have a summary there, right? Do you have something saying what you actually do? Your summary, your about, right? Do you have that there? What inspires you to do what you do? A story about yourself, a call to action, and then your experience. What are you currently doing? Before they reach out to you for a job, they want to see what you do. But just by saying business analyst somewhere, product owner somewhere, it's not doing anything. So make sure that whatever you have on your resume is on your LinkedIn profile as well. I see a lot of terrible resumes. So if your resume is not really helping you, just bringing that content over to your LinkedIn profile is not going to help you either. But have something on your experience. Share those tangible achievements that you've accomplished, basically. This is what I prepared today. I want to make sure that I'm respectful of your time. We have a web class, which is a free live web class. I don't know if you've ever been part of this. How to get the job you want, rock your interviews, and choose from multiple job offers without spending weeks trying and failing. And Denise can vouch for me because her loving son has been able to become a VP, right? By doing exactly this strategy. So we have a lot of mentees. We have mentored more than 400 professionals, and we share this strategy openly because not everybody wants a mentor. Not everybody wants a guide, but I want to make the biggest positive impact that I can on everybody across the world. So we share the strategy openly so that everybody understands how to conduct their job search process differently. Because if you do what everybody else is doing, how are you ever going to stand out? So we share this openly. If you want, I don't know if it's been shared on the chat, go there, sign up. It takes literally 2 seconds and join us. And yeah, I'm more than happy to share everything that I know with you because everybody deserves a job that brings them personal happiness, professional fulfillment, financial strength, and a job that you really are excited to jump out of bed for. So I hope you enjoy this. It was a lot of information, I know. Maybe you're overwhelmed. Honestly, just give. Anytime that you have the opportunity to give, just give. If you give from your heart and you're not measuring and you're not expecting anything in return, you will get way more than what you could have expected or what you would have imagined. That the magnitude, I cannot describe in words what LinkedIn has done for me. But I have to say, in this case, it was LinkedIn for me. In your case, it might be LinkedIn, might be something else. Maybe Instagram, might be TikTok, might be whatever it is. I chose LinkedIn, and it's not just LinkedIn. I have to take ownership of, I put in the time, I put in the effort, I showed up consistently, I was there, and I spent thousands of hours. But the vast majority of people are not willing to put in the time and the effort, and they're not showing up for themselves. So if you're not showing up, you're not going to see the results. But if you do show up, you will see. If you pay attention, I'll tell you one last thing. There are a lot of people who get depressed because, for example, I have someone, his name is Luis. He started a business, he left his corporate world, he started a business. And one day I was talking to him and he said, I'm so devastated because this week I was going to have, I don't know how many appointments, let's say 7 appointments, 10 appointments. And he says, like they all canceled or something happened or this or that. I was like, okay. And let me ask you a question. How many appointments did you have the first week when you started this? He said 0. And were you happy or were you sad? No, I was extremely happy to start a new business. So why are you sad now? Because you had just one hiccup along the way. It's just one hiccup. Like it's nothing. You'll recover. Take some strength from that and just figure it out. And that's what makes it so exciting. Just keep going. But if you look at followers, likes, whatever measure, however it is that you want to measure, if today you have one like and tomorrow you have two, you grew 100%. And then the next day you have four, you grew again 100%. And maybe the next day you get one like and you're like, learn from it. Don't just put yourself down. Oh, I'm garbage. I'm so bad at this. Ask yourself, maybe it was the time of the day. Maybe it was the topic. Maybe it was the call to action. Maybe it was the hook. Maybe it was the image. Maybe it was I don't know, LinkedIn had a glitch, had an outage. Maybe there was an earthquake. Maybe there was something, it was insensitive, whatever it is that you shared. Ask yourself these questions. Don't bring yourself down. Learn from whatever it is that you're going through and just keep on going. Because if you give up, you're giving, no one said that this was going to be easy. Otherwise, everybody would do it. So just all I ask you is keep on showing up for yourself. Give to everyone else and keep showing up for yourself, and you will see a major difference in your life. God willing, I sincerely wish you the best for you to achieve way more than I have. I'm telling you, LinkedIn banned me so many times. They are controlling how much reach I have because of things that I've said. Nothing crazy, but honestly, like sometimes, who knows, I broke some policies and all of a sudden I'm being watched by LinkedIn. So go and achieve more than I have. And I hope that one day you tell me, Brian, you changed my life. I sincerely hope so.
First time that I spoke to Brian, exactly what he shared with you today, that, if he could only change one life, then the rest is a bonus. That completely resonated with me, because when I started the mentoring club, that was the same mindset that I have, right? If I could only help one person, then that's success. And then, the next people after that one person would be the bonus. So that's why, after that first informational session with Brian, I knew that we had, some similar intentions, similar values. And that's how we started getting connected, and I asked him to be part of the community so that we can help more people together. For October, we are having a communications workshop with Roy Terry, who is a Toastmasters coach. I saw attended his event with another group, SVLC, Silicon Valley Engineering Leadership Group, and I really felt that his content would be very useful to our community. And so I invited him for October. And then would like to just do a quick announcement that soon we are launching our lead mentoring program for corporations. So if you are in a company where you're looking to implement a mentoring program and you don't have the expertise for that, we have organized a group of very well experienced mentors who have designed a structured corporate mentoring program. So please feel free to reach out to me. So what we currently have in the Mentoring Club is a global mentoring platform where anybody anywhere in the world can reach out to mentors. Now we're focusing on expanding our reach to corporations so that they can implement mentoring programs. Definitely, if you know of somebody who wants to become a mentee, or if you yourself would like to reach out as a mentee, we are welcoming you. You are the reason why the Mentoring Club exists, and we cannot serve the mentees without the mentors. So if you are at that stage of giving back, please do raise your hand and become a mentor within our community. Just want to also share with you some of the positions, volunteering positions that are still available in the Mentoring Club, but we'd like to welcome also those who have just recently joined us. Hallie for social media marketing. We have Salesforce administrators Doyen from Canada also, Brian and Juliet from South Africa. and then Sonika from India. So we have a few more administrators that we are onboarding in October. And then this one is an outreach that we'd like to let everybody know that we are still accepting donations for our fundraiser, Give Back, Lead Forward. We still need to get to as close as possible to our goals. So if you if you have been following us, you would also see my posts on LinkedIn about this fundraiser. Please go ahead and check out the fundraiser. And if you'd like to become a sustaining donor for the Mentoring Club, definitely all the funds that we are receiving right now that are unrestricted goes into operations to support our infrastructure and our ongoing need to support the programs of the Mentoring Club. And lastly, feedback is a gift. So when you receive the copy of the slides, you can click on this link here to give us your feedback for the session. Enjoy the journey, everyone. Take care. Brian.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.